Hi friends, Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and today we are going to make some delicious cinnamon rolls. Yesterday I was at Costco and they had some beautiful looking blueberries, so I picked them up and decided to figure out something to do with them, and one of the things I'm going to do is blueberry cinnamon rolls with the lemon frosting. This is a fairly small recipe. It's going to fill a pie plate, a 9-inch pie plate. And that's perfect for if there's two of you, like my husband and I. If you want a bigger recipe, you can double it and it would fit into a 9x13 pan. Also, I am not going to be using a mixer for this, for the kneading of the dough. I'm going to do that by hand. So if you don't have a mixer, no worries. You can follow along with me and do it right by hand. If you have a mixer, by all means, you can use that too. Okay, I'm going to bring you closer here and show you what we're going to do, and you can make these too. We're going to begin by making the dough, and for that you're going to need some all-purpose flour. You're going to need a little bit of water, milk, some butter, salt, an egg, a little bit of sugar, and of course some yeast. The recipe is below in the description box, so you can find all the measurements there. For the filling, you will of course need some blueberries, some brown sugar, and cinnamon. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to mix my milk and my water, and I'm going to add my butter to that and heat it up in the microwave until it gets pretty hot to the touch, maybe about 110 degrees. I always say if you don't have a thermometer, it's okay. Just make it a little bit hotter than a baby's bath water. Most of us can relate to that, right? I should say that my butter was at room temperature when I started, so, and my milk was also. I'm stirring it around to finish melting the butter. All right, I'm going to pour that into my bowl and add my yeast. And you can see I had a little bit of butter that wasn't melted, but I'm not worried about that. It'll melt. And I'm just going to stir this around. And I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes or so until it gets kind of bubbly. Sugar also helps speed this up, and I kind of forgot about that, so I'm going to add that in right now just to help speed up the process here. It's been 10 minutes now and everything is nice and bubbly, so I'm going to start adding the other ingredients. I'm going to start by adding about 2 cups of the flour. It's half-cup measures. Actually, I think I'll just go right now with 1.5 cups. The salt, the sugar, and my 1 egg that's at room temperature. It's supposed to be at room temperature. Mine still feels a little cool. It's okay. We will survive this. Now, I am going to be kneading this by hand. If you want to use a mixer, go ahead. It makes such a small amount that I just decided I didn't want to mess with the mixer, and I actually like kneading bread by hand. I'm going to keep adding flour until I can't mix it with a spoon, and then I'll be pouring it out onto the table. So this is another half cup. The recipe calls for 2 3/4 cup, but I'm going to make sure that I don't put too much in by just starting a little bit at a time. And it's still pretty sticky. And you can see it's sticking on the table as well. So that's how I know I need more. This is going to be a really soft dough, so you definitely don't want to get too much flour, but it shouldn't be sticky like that. So if it is, you just need to keep adding a little bit more and keep kneading it in. So I'm getting there. It's still a little sticky, so we're going to add a little bit more. That makes 2.5. All right, I did 2.5 cups. It doesn't really feel like it needs much more. I might sprinkle just a little on the table as I continue to knead it. And now I'm going to knead it for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so I have kneaded this for 10 minutes and now we're going to let it rise. I'm going to put a little oil in the pan. I'm using avocado oil, but you can use whatever you want. It's just a mild oil. And I'm going to just kind of coat it well. I'm going to cover this with a towel and put it in a warm place and let it rise for about a half hour or 45 minutes until it has doubled in size. My dough rose for probably about an hour and maybe even a little bit more. I kind of got sidetracked and distracted. So I'm going to punch this down and knead it a little bit more, and then we're going to roll it out. Ideally, when you're rolling it out, you're going for the shape of a rectangle. You want it to be about 14 inches, 14 by 8 according to what the recipe said, but sometimes if you don't get a rectangle, it's not the end of the world. Just roll it out till it's fairly thin, whatever the size shape it looks like. I think mine's a little bit bigger than that, but that's fine. I like them a little bit thinner, I guess, anyway. So now we're just going to spread this with some butter. Usually I just kind of eye it, but I've got about 2 tablespoons here that I'm going to spread on. I have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar that I am going to sprinkle over the top of this. And now for the blueberries. I have 1 cup, and I'm just going to start sprinkling these around as well. And I'm just going to kind of push them into the dough so that they don't move around too much as I roll it up. And now I'm just going to start rolling it up. And again, I'm just going to kind of push down on it as I'm rolling it so the blueberries don't move around too much. And now I'm going to pinch this end so it doesn't unroll. You can cut them if you want with a knife, but I'm going to use scissors just because I find that's the easiest way to do it. And in order to try to make them as even as possible, what I usually do is figure out my center point, and I just eye that. And again, on each half, I figure out my center point. Cut them in half, and I'm going to cut them in half again. These will be looking like they're going to be somewhat large, but I guess you could put them in a maybe a 9x9 pan and make them a little thinner. That's just totally up to you, however you want to do it. And I'm going to make sure that they're cut all the way through. The blueberry escaping. All right. I'm lining my pie plate with some parchment paper, just for easier cleanup. And I'm going to spray it as well with some avocado nonstick spray, just for the edges mostly. Now, I'm going to put these babies in there. Yeah, see? Looks like it's a little bit big. It's okay. These will be delicious. I'm going to cover these and let them rise for about a half hour or so. Ooh, nice. I let these rise for about 30-40 minutes or so, and they're looking beautiful. I'm going to bake them now at 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes. While my cinnamon rolls are baking, I am going to make the frosting that is going to go on the top when they come out. I'm going to start with 2 ounces of cream cheese and a tablespoon of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/4 teaspoon of lemon extract. And I'm going to kind of mix this up now. My cream cheese and my butter are both at room temperature. And now I'm going to start adding powdered sugar. I have 1.25 cups measured out, so we'll see if that is enough or too much. So it makes a fairly thick frosting, which is fine. This doesn't make a huge amount, but I figure that should be enough. Ooh, all right, there we are. These took about 25 minutes. Just beautiful. It's time to frost. I like to put the frosting on right when they come out of the oven. It melts and it gets everything all nice and ooey and gooey on the inside, just like a good cinnamon roll should be. Well, they finally cooled down enough, so I went ahead and took one out, and boy, not only do they smell good, you can just smell blueberries. I'm going to give it a test and see. They look really nice. The dough is a really soft, really nice looking, easy to work with dough. Okay, I'm going to give it a try. Got a little bit of blueberry, the cinnamon roll dough, and a little bit of the icing. That's really good. These turned out fantastic. I hope you give this recipe a try. It's not that difficult to make, and I don't know about you, but I just love the combination of blueberries and lemon, and you get a nice taste of all of that in these sweet rolls. And I hope you, like I said, I hope you give them a try. And if you do, come back and comment below and let me know what you thought of them. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. And if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you like my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, would you consider subscribing? I would appreciate that too. All right, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.